I'm not sure if it's just me, but many young people today seem to carry many mental ailments with them, usually in some form of acronym such as ADHD, OCD, MDD, GAD, BPD, the list goes on. Now, I'm sure some of these are serious and hard to live with, and I can sympathise with anybody who's struggling, but it does beg the question as to whether we've got some sort of overdiagnosis going on. Now, I'm sure many psychotherapists would say this is just due to us understanding more, but to me it seems odd that all of these ailments have come along at a time where we've moved our focus away from things such as family, tradition, culture, and God, and towards the self. I'm sure you may have noticed that the modern world, despite its glitz and its colour and its opportunities, tends to focus down on individual pleasure as the primary motivator. This is supposed to be empowering for young people, but I think it actually backfires, and this is because we're essentially living in a materialistic, nihilistic, godless universe now, one in which man alone and his inner world is the only reality. This to me sounds like a recipe for personal disaster, and it makes me think of Jordan Peterson of all people. And don't get me wrong, I really respect Jordan Peterson. I think he's done a very good job at waking up young men to the inheritance they have of Western culture. Second to that, his stance against the woke people has been admirable, and he's clearly an intelligent and interesting man. But I couldn't help but think the other day, why is he so popular with young people? Well, I think there are many reasons, one being that he genuinely seems to care about young people in a culture that doesn't, but I also think he speaks their psychological language. Peterson has found fame speaking about the biblical stories, and despite his great insights, as a Christian myself, he seems like he's someone who knows a great deal but hasn't accepted the love and peace of the Spirit itself. I say this simply because I see him struggling a lot and crying in almost every interview of late. Now, I think there can be something quite touching about the odd tear about the plight of young men, or when there's lots of pressure on you, it's maybe understandable, but we're talking about crying in every second interview at the moment. And I hope you understand, this isn't a criticism of Jordan Peterson per se, but the model of life he follows, which is one of psychotherapy. Here's the German film director Vera Hoge talking on the dangers of psychotherapy and why he doesn't think it's good for our society.
For God's sake, I would be the last one who would ever allow it. I think it is one of the greatest stupidities and the greatest mistakes of the 20th century. There's something finally and definitively wrong about psychoanalysis. Explaining every dark little corner that we have in our soul is a very unhealthy and a very stupid and a very dangerous thing. We should not do that.
Now, as some of you may have spotted, there is an irony about a German speaking about a historically Jewish tradition in such a way, and I'm not saying here I'm going full Livia Soprano.
They sent you to a psychiatrist?
Yeah.
But that's crazy. That's all nonsense. That's nothing but a racket for the Jews.
But having experienced a bit of therapy myself as a young person, I do get what Vera Hoge is talking to here. I saw about 5 therapists, mainly because 4 I found were terrible. Now, in fairness, the 5th one was very good and helped me deal with some major challenges in my life. However, once I dealt with those, I found that he just kept going round the same issues again and again and again. Now, this is when I started to question therapy, because I found that I wasn't being spoken to as a human being, but as a project to be therapized. Second to that, in my personal life, I had a major spiritual rebirth around this time, which did 100 times which therapy ever did for me. Now, as I began to feel peace within myself and root myself more around family, tradition, nation, and a spiritual life, I began to see that many therapists themselves are unwell. Second to that, many therapists also seem to show quite a strong dislike to traditional society. And that's because a therapist is ultimately a modern-day secular priest. As this fella points out, therapy is evil because it's an attempt to recreate the Catholic confession, but instead of talking to a priest, you talk to a white woman who voted for Joe Biden. This is why personally I've come to see the rise of psychotherapy as more of a feminine takeover of what was the role of masculine elders in society. What most young people crave more than anything, though they won't admit it, is a strong, stable authority figure to show them the ropes of the world. That our modern culture has demonized fathers and patriarchs and worked to remove the masculine instinct out of the Christian tradition, we're now witnessing the results. What we have is a generation of young people lost in their own thoughts and their own minds with no real path to break free from that. However, as I keep talking to on this channel, I do believe a civilizational rebirth is in the offing. Now, while such a rebirth will be rooted around issues such as identity, spirit, and nation, I do believe there is space to reconsider how we look at the health of young people too. In my eyes, young men need a strong sense of mission, something meaningful bigger than themselves to center their lives around. And if we fail to give them this, we're going to create a confused, weak generation who are lost in their own minds. That will have hugely negative impacts on our culture at large as we move into a very chaotic time. These are just some of my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.